We have huge breaking news from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Auston Matthews has agreed to an extension. We'll discuss the details coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some significant news from the Toronto Maple Leafs organization. We finally have the new contract extension in place between the Toronto Maple Leafs and Auston Matthews. Auston Matthews signs a 4-year contract extension with an average annual value of $13.25 million. Will then become the new highest paid player in the NHL once this contract extension kicks in. As we've talked about here in recent days, there's been a lot of talk that Matthews would not go beyond 5 years, preferably less, which is what happened here. I know NHL insiders are reporting that the Maple Leafs pushed hard to go longer term, but that is the absolute most that the Leafs could get Matthews to commit to was a 4-year contract extension. So by the time this contract is complete, when he'll be, I believe, 31 years of age, he'll have earned well over $100 million in NHL salary. So certainly, as I mentioned before, the play here all along is to maximize earnings, which is why some of these players don't want to go long-term. But for the most part, I know it can be a little bit frustrating for Leaf fans because most other cities and most other big-name players around the league have been giving their teams 7-8 year commitments, whereas these guys were like Matthews and company typically prefer to do less. But it is what it is. Matthews will be a Leaf for 4 more seasons. This could hopefully be the beginning of other things to come, because as we talked about before, and what was confirmed today by Elliotte Friedman, because he's over in Europe interviewing a bunch of European players, William Nylander interviewed with him and Jeff Merrick, and they haven't released all the interviews, of course, but they've been kind of putting out posts about just a few snippets of each one to kind of get you interested. And one of the things that William Nylander said was he didn't understand the hurry. He had another full season under contract. Which was what we heard before, that Nylander is in absolutely no rush whatsoever. And based on this interview he did with Merrick and Friedman, it absolutely confirms that. But as everybody said before, Nylander may be willing to take what's considered a bit of a discount, but he didn't want to be the one to sign first, and he wants to see if his buddies, preferably Matthews, are willing to do the same. The word around the league that insiders have been having was that Nylander will take less as long as everybody else will too. He, I think, feels like he might have gotten a little bit shafted on the last contract, even though at the time it seemed like a bit of a rich deal, turned out to be a bargain deal. And I think, obviously, but Matthews and Marner signing afterwards, there is quite a gap in their current salaries. And as much as they might be better players or more valuable to their team, I don't know that there should be that much of a gap. And of course, it's just kind of, I'm sure that part of that sits, with Willie the wrong way and makes him want to maximize his next deal, which you can't blame him for. But at the same time, based on the analytics community, they feel that $13.25 million is a team-friendly deal and a bit of a discount. Now, I guess time will tell. I know there's a lot of people that have varying different opinions on this. If you look at the other top players that have become the highest paid, you could argue that they may have accomplished a little bit more than Matthews, but obviously he's clearly one of the top players in the league. He's clearly extremely valuable to the Leafs. Top centerman, number one center, franchise-altering guy. Obviously consistently at least 40 goals, if not more, multiple times. So clearly there's lots and lots of value there. So we will see. A lot of this is going to be dependent on how much the salary cap rises too. But we had heard it was going to be at least 13, if not closer to 14. So the fact that it is closer to 13 than 14 probably does indicate that they probably did give in a little. If they're only willing to go to this term, that they might have given a little bit on salary based on what they feel like they could have gotten on the open market. So imagine if Matthews doesn't sign this and becomes a UFA next offseason. You don't think another team would try to offer at least 14 or more to pry him away? I'm sure they would. So at the end of the day, it's not terrible, that's for sure. Time will tell, I guess. Obviously, it's all about what you accomplish, and team winning is a big part of this too. But not only could this be a huge step in getting Matthews obviously secured to be a Leaf for at least another period of time, it could be the beginning of them locking up other players on their team like Nylander. Now that he knows what Matthews is going to be making. Now, we had heard that Nylander wanted at least 10. The fact that Matthews is going to be at 13, I don't think that it's really going to slow down or lower what the Nylander camp was looking for, but time will tell. Let me know your thoughts on the Matthews contract extension down in the comments. Is this the right thing for the Leafs? Is this a good value, do you feel? Obviously, I think everybody would agree it would be nice to see him give a more commitment on term. But all that aside, let me know what you think on the contract, and we'll discuss it in the comments. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll be back with another video later discussing a lot of the other news of the day around the NHL. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.